These stories are inspiration for everyone who views them.
The NDTV Indian of the Year is an extremely important initiative.
Nominees were just extraordinary.
Each one of them is a rock star.
And the achievers in this field who are inspiration for the Indians in this country have been chosen for this prestigious award.
When the whole day passes like a blur, the news just whizzes past, and you're trying to stay informed. It is our job to bring you news that truly matters.
Hi, thanks so much for joining in. You're watching Ask Profit on NDTV Profit. My name is Alex Matthew. With me is Mahima Vajrajani, and we will take you through the next 1 hour of trade. All of this week, we've been doing something slightly different from what you've been used to on Ask Profit, and we've opened up the phone lines. In fact, that number that you see on the bottom of your screen, that is where you can call. And Mahima and I would love to speak to you and get your questions answered. To that end, we've got fundamental and technical expert on the program. Let me introduce you to them. We've got Gaurang Shah, who's the head of investment strategy at Geojit Financial Services, and Kushal Gandhi, who's technical analyst Stocks Box. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for taking the time, and I will come to you in just a short while. Let me very quickly take our viewers through where the markets are right now. And you have gains of about 0.25% to 0.33% for the Nifty 50, but it's been a very tight range. I would like to point out that around this time yesterday, you had a very similar story play out. And then over the course of this show, you saw a breakdown of that, and you saw cuts, very substantial cuts at that, towards the end of the session, and that was highlighted by the foreign institutional investors selling at the end of the day, the third highest single day selling in this year, and that's saying something, over 11,000 crore on a net basis. Of course, there was considerable buying by domestic institutions as well, about 8,000 odd crore bought on a net basis. But let's take a look at the market breadth. It is more or less even Stevens at this juncture, and this is visible in the broader markets as well. You have the mid-cap index that's trading just about flat right now, and you have the small-cap index that's trading with a marginal negative bias, as I saw. Oh, actually it's turned positive. So there you go. It's actually quite a bit of chop and churn. From the point where I started this program to right now, it is actually trading positive as we speak. So let me go across to Gaurang for the first question, and it has to do with, do we have a caller, by the way? Okay, this is on WhatsApp. Haresh Thakkar is asking, and he's writing in from Mumbai, he's asking about Zee Entertainment, Gaurang, and we see the stock reaction in trade today. The stock is up 5% or thereabouts on account of this development that you saw last evening, where the shareholders have voted to disallow the continuation of the directorship for Mr. Puneet Goenka. How do you rate the latest development, and what should he do if he's bought at levels of 145?
Well, thank you, Alex, and morning to all of you all. So I think this stock has been more of a news-based driven stock rather than the fundamentals. And we all know the recent history with respect to the merger. Not going into all those because now that's been put to rest. I think this flip-flop as far as, the role of Mr. Puneet Goenka has been in the spotlight for the last about a fortnight or so, correct me if I'm wrong. And the stock has reacted accordingly. And as a disclosure, we do have coverage on Zee Entertainment. And I think like everybody, we are also eagerly expecting for more clarity to come through and getting the company back on the growth trajectory, because these news flows will possibly drive the stock depending upon which way the news flow is coming, either positive or negative, Alex. And more importantly, let me say this, I think investing in Zee Entertainment would require a lot of patience and a long-term time horizon if the company has to bring back its past glory. As of now, we would recommend a hold for all those who have gotten at lower level. But let me say this, like I mentioned, it's going to be a patience game and a long drawn investment.
It's a hold and a patient game and a long drawn game is the view coming in for Zee Entertainment. We have our first caller for the day, who is Govind Raj from Chennai. Govind, hi and good morning and welcome to NDTV Profit. I believe your question is on Bank of Baroda.
Yeah. Hi, Lex and everyone. Good morning. So I have an investment of 40,000 quantity in Bank of Baroda, and I've been holding it for past 5+ years, and I would like to know, will it ever cross 300 by 2025 April, and what is the fair value of this stock?
All right, what's the price at which you bought this stock?
79.80.
All right, so that's a very interesting quantity, first of all, and you've been holding it with a lot of patience. I'll go to my funder guest and ask him what's his view on Bank of Baroda. Gaurang, I'll come to you for this one. He's sitting on Govind is sitting on a significant amount of profit, and he wants to know whether it will cross the 300 mark, and whether and he also wants to know the fair value for Bank of Baroda. So your view on this particular counter.
Well, thank you. And I hope that Mr. Govindraj has other investments, because 40,000 quantity of Bank of Baroda. And if this is the large part of his holding, then I think on the fundamental side, let me give a piece of advice to Mr. Govindraj that don't have an overexposure on any particular sector or a stock, because that increases your risk on investing thesis and principles. So having said that, as a disclosure, we do have coverage on Bank of Baroda, and I think the second quarter earnings which the bank delivered was in some areas above what our estimates were. And the target that Mr. Govindraj has spoken about, closer to 300, well, that's exactly where our target is on the long-term point of view. 79 rupees investment, 40,000 quantity. Like I mentioned, don't overexpose yourself. But our sense on the entire banking space, both public as well as private, is that in the years to come by, I think credit demand is going to go up significantly. And that will enable a very decent loan book growth. We have gross and net NPA, especially from the public sector banks, being reported at low end, which results into write-backs of provisioning. The only short to medium term concern is, garnering liquidity via deposit, because that has been a slow for all public as well as private banks. But I think that should possibly ease out as we go forward from here on.
Okay, Gaurang, Govind, if you're still with us, I just want to clarify the question that Gaurang had, which is quite a valid question. Kushal, just hang with me. Sorry, I'm keeping you waiting. I will come to you in just a short while. But Govind, I'm just curious, as a part of your overarching portfolio, is this a very significant chunk?
That's my only holding, and that's my portfolio.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So then this is a very important point that Gaurang has raised from the perspective of concentration risk. You understand, of course, this is a public sector utility, but still you need to have a diversified holding in the stock perspective as well. So maybe take this opportunity to look at some of the other stocks that we look at over the course of this show, just to give you a sense of what you should invest in. All right, let's take the next question. Thanks so much, Govind, for calling, and hope this helped. Laxmi Organics is the name of the counter we're taking, and I'm coming to you on this one, Kushal. 429 is a buy price. Ranjan wants to know, should he sell now or should he average his price? What's the view?
Well, I have a neutral view on the stock, simply because the stock has corrected a bit and it's likely to show some reversal signs. The stock is nearing the 200 DMA, and I feel the stock can do well. If 200 DMA is sustainable, we have some closing about 261. So I would recommend to hold your positions, wait for the levels for the 271s to be taken out. And I feel further momentum can be expected about 284. So I would ask, him to hold his position and put a trailing stop loss near 240. Let's say if we have a dip below 240, he should book some losses.
All right. I do want to pull up Enviro Infra, because this is a stellar listing. It's turning out to be a lot. Of course, it's off the high point of the day. It's up about 43% as we speak right now. Of course, it is the new kid on the block. It listed on Dalal Street today, and very strong listing. Subscribed 61 times, so there was quite a lot of retail interest. We caught up with the management and started by asking them if the 100% growth that they saw in revenue, EBITDA and profit in FY24 is sustainable. Listen in.
CAGR of the company was around 80% and the EBITDA margins were around 130% and and CAGR on the PAT it was around 132%. If we look at the performance of the company in the past, we are quite confident we will be able to maintain the same growth. Looking forward, the same number we will not be able to achieve, but the growth will be in the range of 30 to 35%.
Okay, so 30 to 35% is the growth that you'll plan to achieve for the next 1 to 2 years, as you said. And the margins, do we expect a further upside from these 23%, 24% levels, or will they also sustain in a similar range? Mr. Manish, and I'll come to you on this.
No, they will be sustained in the similar range. We are quite confident whatever we have done in the past, we will be able to maintain the same growth pattern.
Okay, now coming to the order book of the company, so 23 to 24% of margins along with 32 to 40% growth. Now coming to the orders of the company, you've had an order book of about 1,906 crore. This is across 22 projects that we are looking at. Want to understand what is the execution period generally like, and in the next half, how much do you plan to execute from this order book that you currently hold?
The order book of the company as on 30th of June 2024 was 1906 crores. One more project, which is a HAM project, that got added to the order book. The size of that project is 267 crore. The total execution cycle of the project is in the range of 18 to 24 months. So this entire order book, that should get replicated into revenues within 2 years cycle. Going by the past trend, the way the company has been executing the project on the back of the execution capabilities, so the timeline within those 2-year timelines, we are quite hopeful that the growth momentum the company was doing in the past, we will maintain that growth momentum, and same is being replicated in the current financial year as well. For first quarter, the results are already there, and we are quite hopeful we'll continue to maintain that growth trajectory going forward.
Right, so that was the management of Enviro, and just for the viewers' context, we'll play the full interview during the day, and otherwise also this will be available on our YouTube channels as well. We'll take the next query. The next query is from Vandana, who's from Karnataka, and she wants to know which is the best stock amongst the Adani stocks to buy at this level, and it will have more than 20% uptake in the next 1 month. Kushal, I'll come to you for this one. Your view on the technical side of things for the Adani stocks, which one do you think will be the best pick according to you?
I think Adani Green Energy is one of the stocks that can be kept on radar, especially because, when you see the stock has almost risen 395% from the February lows, and against that, we've just seen a 60% correction. So I think that's a good sign where the savvy investors are continuing to hold their positions, which has limited the drawdowns as compared to other Adani stocks. Plus, the kind of recovery that we've seen throughout the week is quite, commendable. So I think this is considering the oversold conditions, high oversold conditions in Adani Green, I think the stock can do well from a short-term opportunity. So probably, this is the stock that, can be kept on radar and looks good for buy. So my initial targets on the stock is, close to 1420 levels and 1450 levels. Probably when these levels are sustainable, we can, hope for a further upside towards 1650.
Okay, thanks, Kushal, for that view. I believe we've got a caller that is logging in from Indore. Jeet, thanks so much for calling us. Do we have Jeet on the phone line? Let me confirm that. All right. Jeet, what is your question for us today?
Hello. Hello.
Hi, Jeet. Thanks so much for calling us.
Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Very well. How can we help you today?
Thank you for asking. Well, I own about 300 shares of ION Exchange.
Yes.
So my query is basically, is that particular stock, is it good for long term? Or should I just book my profits or my losses, whatever it is, in the future?
Okay. So you bought at levels of 648. Can you tell me when you bought?
I bought it actually a month ago.
Okay. And what was the intention that you had? Did you buy based on the price action, or did you see something in the fundamentals of the stock?
Well, basically, the reason why I bought it was because I see that was the only particular company which was in India itself that works in the water space. So that's the reason why I bought it, and nobody else does what they do. So I was wondering if it's for long term or short term.
Incidentally, the stock that just listed today is in the water treatment space, and it's doing particularly well. And there are a couple more I must point out. If I'm not mistaken, Vatek Wabag is also in the space. Jeet, so let me get you a fundamental view on this. Gaurang, there are a few companies that play in the water treatment space. Is this the best option available, Ion Exchange?
So the one where it got listed today, we had an IPO note from a long-term point of view on the subscription side. That's a disclosure from my side, Alex. Well, I won't be specific to help out Jit with respect to Ion Exchange, but this is also a very sound company in terms of water treatment, affluent treatment, etc., etc. But the other name that you mentioned, that is Vatek Wabag or Vatek Wabag, this has been a wealth creator, if you see, over the last maybe about a year or so, or a little bit more than that, a year and a half. Stock was languishing at about 300 to 500 for a pretty long period of time. And then I think the opportunities that the management was talking about in terms of the order book execution, and more importantly, Alex, this company, Vatek Wabag, if I'm not mistaken, it is also into desalinization of water. And that's a huge opportunity as far as India is concerned and the rest of the world is concerned. Prudent to give a disclosure, we have a fundamental coverage on Vatek Wabag. And as we go forward, I think the government at the center and the government at various states will do a lot to conserve water and, of course, to create more resources in case if there is any deficit with respect to the monsoon season that we have. So this is a good company, Vatek Wabag, but I won't be able to be answering specific in buy, sell and hold with respect to the investment he has because we don't have coverage on that.
Sure. Oh, I forgot to give you the standard disclosure. We spoke about the Adani Group of stocks just a short while back. NDTV Profit, as you know, is part of the NDTV Group, and that is owned by the Adani Group. That is a standard disclosure that we have to take every time we discuss the stocks.
Right. Our next query, Alex, is from Nimesh, who's from New Jersey, USA. He's holding 28 shares of TCS and he's bought it at the levels of 3720. If we can pull up TCS and see what price it is trading at right now, it's trading at 4287. So he's sitting on good amounts of profits, and he's been holding it from a long-term perspective, and he wants to know in terms of he's saying that TCS is trading sideways. Please advise whether to sell and swap the funds to any other IT company. Gaurang, I'll stick with you for this one. Your view on TCS, because he's been holding it from a long term. Do you think that he should keep holding it or he should switch to some other IT company?
Well, I would not advise him to switch to any other IT company because, as we all know, TCS is the flagship and frontline IT company. And over the last maybe about a year or so, especially over the last 2 or 3 quarters, the earnings momentum for the IT sector has only improved quarter on quarter. And our sense at Geojit is that this is going to be much better in the third and the fourth quarter in the coming financial year and even after that. So we have a disclosure coverage fundamental side, buy side on TCS with target of somewhere close to about 4,600. And I would very humbly disagree with Nimish that the stock has not done anything. I think if you look at the stock for the last 6 months, 1 year, year and a half, 2 years, this has been one of the performing stocks along with other frontline IT stocks as well as mid cap and small cap IT. And we have almost about maybe more than half a dozen companies on the fundamental side coverage long term in the IT universe. But I would say that this is a large cap name, and on the number side, it has done quite well.
All right, and of course, IT just seeing a little bit of profit taking yesterday, but the index as a whole has done particularly well in the month of November. I'm coming to you, Kushal, in the next one, which is a short-term view on Canara Bank, which is a question coming from Jalandhar. Anil is writing in. He points out that he's a senior citizen at 74. Sir, thanks so much for taking the time and for viewing Ask Profit. Hopefully, the direction on this show is helping you out. He's bought at levels of 109. He's got a considerable holding of 5,000 shares. Kushal, what should he do? Should he hold or exit?
No, he should hold at the current juncture because if you see the stock has corrected almost 27% from the record highs, and it's now attempting to bottom out. Right, so we see a formation of double bottom happening, which is indicative of a trend reversal. But like I said, there's 200 DMA acting as overhead resistance. So there's going to be a limited upside. So I feel he should hold, and I think on the upside, I feel 111 is a crucial resistance. And let's say if that level is taken out, I anticipate furthermore upside towards 120 odd levels. So the current juncture should definitely hold with a strict stop loss of 98.
Right, we have our next caller from Vizag. Gautam from Vizag is calling us. Gautam, good morning, and how can we help you?
Yeah, very good morning. I have purchased Suzlon shares. Total number of shares is 3,692 at the rate of 77 rupees. So my question is, I just want to average the price by buying more stocks. When should I buy? That's my question, and I can wait for another 1 or 2 years.
All right, so you want to know the quantity and the price at which you can purchase, make the next purchase and average out the price at which you've bought, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. Kaushal, I'll come to you for this one. Your view on Suzlon. He wants to know what levels can he enter exactly into the stock.
So right now, my view on Suzlon Energy is a bit bearish, considering the lower lows and lower high structure formation that's happening. And again, the shorter term moving averages have been acting as constant supply zone. So I would advocate, for the stock to just move up about 71, 72 odd levels, let those levels sustain. And I think that will be an ideal entry point. Until then, I would ask to avoid the stock.
But would you say hold on to whatever you have, Kushal?
Yeah, with a strict stop loss of 60.20.
Okay, that's
probably
not too far.
if we see stop loss. Yeah,
that's not too far from where it is right now. Thanks so much for that. Hemlata is asking the next question. She's got Tata Elxsi allocation Gorang in IPO, and she's wondering whether it can be held from this point as well, based on the fundamentals. The stock is currently trading at 6,700. She's holding 400 shares. What's the view?
If you got it at the IPO, you should be laughing your way to the bank, isn't it, Alex? You have no reasons to repent, right? So,
I wish it was. I wish it was me laughing as much as I'm sure that she is laughing.
No, Alex. What you don't have, you never lose. So don't worry about it. Okay. Now coming to the stock. This is one of the small cap IT stock that we've been extremely positive. Unfortunately, last financial year, there were some large disappointments, if I'm not mistaken, in the second and the third quarter. Things have started to improve for Tata Elxsi from a long-term point of view. And the areas that which operates, I think it opens up great opportunity, Alex. If I'm not mistaken, our targets are in excess of 7,300 or 7,500 plus on Tata Elxsi. This, of course, I'm speaking on the fundamental side from a long-term point of view. So no need to hurry, stay invested.
The view. I believe we've got a lot of people that are holding on. Chandan has been holding for some time. We've also got Kantesh and one more, Saurabh. Do stay with us. We have to unfortunately slip into a very quick break. We'll be back on the other side to take your questions. And thanks so much for your patience.
Becoming a member of jury of NDTV was a totally different challenge altogether.
When you recognize contribution to society, these stories are inspiration for everyone who views them.
The NDTV Indian of the Year is an extremely important initiative.
Nominees were just extraordinary.
Each one of them is a rock star.
And the achievers in this field who are inspiration for the Indians in this country have been chosen for this prestigious award.
When the whole day passes like a blur, the news just whizzes past, and you're trying to stay informed. It is our job to bring you news that truly matters. At Profit 360, we cut through the clutter. The Wall Street deals, finance and policy news that could shape your tomorrow. The newsmakers, the trendsetters, and the innovators. In 30 minutes, we've got you covered. So stay ahead, stay informed, and stay profitable with Profit 360.
Headlines you start your day with. What matters worldwide is now in the palm of your hands. Get ready to seize the day and maximize your financial potential. Stay ahead of the curve with all you need to know on NDTV Profit.
Becoming a member of jury of NDTV was a totally different challenge altogether.
When you recognize contribution to society, these stories are inspiration for everyone who views them.
The NDTV Indian of the Year is an extremely important initiative.
Nominees were just extraordinary.
Each one of them is a rock star.
And the achievers in this field who are inspiration for the Indians in this country have been chosen for this prestigious award.
When the whole day passes like a blur, the news just whizzes past, and you're trying to stay informed. It is our job to bring you news that truly matters. At Profit 360, we cut through the clutter. The Wall Street deals, finance and policy news that could shape your tomorrow. The newsmakers, the trendsetters, and the innovators. In 30 minutes, we've got you covered. So stay ahead, stay informed, and stay profitable with Profit 360.
Headlines you start your day with. What matters worldwide is now in the palm of your hands. Get ready to seize the day and maximize your financial potential. Stay ahead of the curve with all you need to know on NDTV Profit.
Becoming a member of jury of NDTV was a totally different challenge altogether.
When you recognize contribution to society, these stories are inspiration for everyone who views them.
The NDTV Indian of the Year is an extremely important initiative.
Nominees were just extraordinary.
Each one of them is a rock star.
And the achievers in this field who are inspiration for the Indians in this country have been chosen for this prestigious award.
When the whole day passes like a blur, the news just whizzes past, and you're trying to stay informed. It is our job to bring you news that truly matters. At Profit 360, we cut through the clutter. The Wall Street deals, finance and policy news that could shape your tomorrow. The newsmakers, the trendsetters, and the innovators. In 30 minutes, we've got you covered. So stay ahead, stay informed, and stay profitable with Profit 360.
Headlines you start your day with. What matters worldwide is now in the palm of your hands. Get ready to seize the day and maximize your financial potential. Stay ahead of the curve with all you need to know on NDTV Profit.
Becoming a member of jury of NDTV was a totally different challenge altogether.
When you recognize contribution to society, these stories are inspiration for everyone who views them.
The NDTV Indian of the Year is an extremely important initiative.
Nominees were just extraordinary.
Each one of them is a rock star.
And the achievers in this field who are inspiration for the Indians in this country have been chosen for this prestigious award.
Welcome back to Ask Profit. For viewers who are just tuning in, you can ask all your stock related queries, whether they're fundamental or technical, on the number that is flashing on your screen. You can call us on the number that is flashing right now, and you can also WhatsApp us to the number that will flash immediately on the screen. There you go. The next question is from Lavish, who's from Indore. His query is for Gaurang, you especially. He's bought TD Power 500 shares at 455 a piece. He wants to have a view on the stock, whether he should keep holding it or not. Gaurang?
Yeah, so on TD Power, we used to cover this particular stock. Currently, we don't have a coverage. That's a disclosure on my side. But I think one needs to be very thoughtful about investing into power transmission and distribution and equipment related sectors. So our sense is that this is a very strong company in terms of balance sheet. And with the capacities that India is going to come up in terms of new power generation, power transmission and power equipment related companies are going to do extremely well.
Chandan is joining us from Karnataka, and he's got an interesting stock that he's bought in IPO, and that's KRN Heat. Chandan, thanks so much for calling us, and good morning to you. What was the thinking when you subscribed to the IPO?
I was investing from long term.
Okay, and so when you read about the company, what stood out to you?
It was good. It was one of the only company in heat exchanger. No? So I applied it and I got an IPO.
Excellent. And you've been rewarded for that thinking as well, Chandan. So what do you want to know? You want to know whether to hold on or to sell, right?
Whether to hold for 1,000 or book profit at CMP.
Okay. And what is the quantum of shares that you got?
65 shares only.
65 shares. Okay, so Gaurang, on the fundamentals, Chandan has got allocation in the IPO, and it's done particularly well in that time frame. The question is, should he add more, should he hold at the current price or sell? It's an interesting company, wouldn't you agree?
Well, it's one of the best players, Alex, in terms of the heat exchanger market, an emerging player. The floor was at about 209 to 220. This was in the month of September 24. We had an IPO note on the subscribed side from a long-term point of view. This company basically manufactures core components which actually go into air conditioning and refrigeration, aluminum and copper fins, and along with that, other condenser coils, etc., is what the fluid and steam coils, etc., they manufacture. They've got some niche and marquee names as clients like Daikin, Schneider, Blue Star, etc. And the overall global market for heat exchangers is right now growing at the space of 6.4%, which is likely to pick up speed as we go into the future. So hold on from a long-term point of view.
All right. The next question is from Ajit, who's from Bhopal. He wants to add 200 shares of Tilaknagar in his portfolio for the... okay, so he wants to add 200 shares and he wants to know if this is the correct level to add Tilaknagar or not. Kushal, I'll come to you for this one. Do you think the charts look attractive for Tilaknagar right now?
Well, they do, but like you said, the stock is quite extended. The stock has almost moved up 61% from October lows. So I would recommend to, hold on for a bit, let the stock correct a bit, let some mean reversion happen. That's when you enter.
Levels that you would suggest to enter?
It should be around 380 to 370 odds.
Okay.
Okay, I believe we've got so Kantesh Reddy, who's calling us from Karnataka, and it's an interesting stock. Gaurang, I think this one's going to be for you. MRF, he's got one second. What is your holding? I'm maybe reading this wrong. You've got one share or what?
Yes, sir. One share, sir. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Kantesh. Thanks so much for calling. What was the thinking when you bought MRF?
Sir, I am a first-time buyer in stock market, sir. Since 1 year I am invested, sir.
Okay.
1,18,600 rupees I have invested, sir. From I take personal loan and invested for MRF, sir.
You took a personal loan to invest in a stock, Kantesh? Is that right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Right, sir. Right, sir.
Okay, but why did you take a personal loan, Kantesh?
Sir, I am very interested in do stock market. That's why I have taken loan and invested, sir, in stock market, sir.
Okay. Can you?
1,50,000 I taken, sir, and I buy one MRF share and some of my sovereign gold bonds, 5-6 sovereign bonds I have buy, sir.
Okay. Kantesh, did you get some advice to take a personal loan on the basis of which you bought the share?
No, sir, no advice, sir. But my own thinking, sir, only personal loan is 11%, sir. I have I have long time version also. That's why I have taken personal loan and stock market will give good return. That's why I have.
Okay, that's a good thinking. Let me just but clarify that. Okay, Kantesh, that was a thinking that you had. How old are you, Kantesh?
Sir, only 28 years, sir. I am working in professional as a banker, sir.
Okay.
Okay, sir. I have some mutual funds of 3 lakhs rupees and different portfolios.
Okay. So when you bought MRF on this on the loan that you've taken, what was the thinking in terms of how long you will hold it?
Sir, I am owned for nearly 20 years, sir, 30 years, sir.
Oh, you're willing to? Then why did you take a personal loan, Kantesh?
Sir, my salary is very low, sir. That's why I had taken the loan and invested, sir.
Okay, so Kantesh, the idea to buy the stock is a great idea, but the idea to take a loan to buy a stock is a very bad idea. So you should never do that, and if possible, I'm sure that Gaurang will agree with me, you must not do that, and he will give you advice, of course, on the stock that you're holding, which is one unit or one stock, one share of MRF. Gaurang, would you agree that he should ideally close out this personal loan as soon as possible and use his regular income to purchase stocks that are available to him that don't have such a high ticket price?
Alex, you need to give me 30 seconds or more to answer this because your PCR was telling me to be as short as possible and as brief as possible.
No, please, for this okay. I will make an exception.
Kantesh Reddy, my friend, you are brewing a perfect disaster, lethal recipe in terms of what you're doing. You are saying you're a banker. By the virtue being a banker, I think you should possibly be aware about what are the do's and don'ts when it comes to the financial discipline and investing into stock market. You are 28 years of age. You've taken a loan of 150,000 rupees and you bought one share of MRF at about 118,000 rupees. My friend, don't put borrowed money into the stock market. You know, that's the basic principle. You should put whatever you have, whatever you can afford, and invest that into the stock market. There is no guarantee, there is no warranty of any kind of surety as far as market returns are concerned. It can go negative, it can go positive. You are willing to wait for 15, 20 years. You should have saved, if you are at 28, you should have saved from 20 if you like the stock market, and whatever you saved, you would have put it into the stock market. That way you would not burn the midnight oil and not be able to have sleepless nights at home. By the time you possibly look that kind of horizon, how much interest you will be paying? Have you calculated that, my friend Kantesh Reddy? Please have this clarity in your mind. Though the company that you invested in, MRF, it's a very strong company. We used to cover this company, Alex, when it was at about 15 or 20,000 rupees. Then it had reached our target price and we've dropped the coverage. But this is a lethal combination what Mr. Kantesh Reddy is doing. I think you should never borrow money and put into stock.
I was stunned enough to say that this is good thinking. I did not mean it that way. Please remember, do not take loans to invest in the stock market or to trade for that matter. It's a recipe for disaster, as Gaurang has just pointed out. Kantesh, of course, what you're holding is a strong company, as Gaurang has pointed out, but the likelihood of you getting over and above what you have to pay on interest over the long term. Remember that the Nifty 50 over the course of the last several years has only given you 14% per year. And that's a reasonable return to have. But think about it, if you've taken a loan at 11%, your take home is barely anything. So why would you do that? Anyway, let's move on to the next question. And we've got several that have come through. Apologies, we had to take some time to address this. Viewers, I'm sure that you will understand the reason why we have spent this time. Asian Paints is the next counter we're talking about, and Datta is writing in from Singapore, and he's holding 70 shares, which he's bought at levels of 2,000, and he's wondering what the future of the stock is. And quite a bit has been said about the fundamentals. So, Gaurang, a quick view on Asian Paints, would you hold on?
Well, we're maintaining a hold despite of the disaster numbers in the Q2 as well as the huge competition that the company is facing. It's a niche and market name, not only present in India, has got operations in the overseas market. 3,000 plus is the target from a long-term point of view on Asian Paints, Alex.
Let's go to the next one.
All right, the next question is from Kishore, and his question is on Sterling and Wilson Solar. He is holding 4 shares at 548 a piece, and he wants to know whether he should keep holding it or sell for the next 1 year. Kushal, I'll come to you for this one. Do you have a view on this particular counter? How does it look on charts?
But my view is a bit bearish. I would want to wait for 528 levels to taken out. Until then, I feel certain bearish implications may persist. So my view is just hold on for the stock price to close above 530. And if you're holding, I would recommend a trailing stop loss of 466.
All right, we've got a next caller, Nagraju, who's writing in from, who's calling us from Karnataka. I'm getting my mediums mixed up. Nagraju, thanks so much for calling us. You've got TCI Express, right? What was the thinking when you bought, and what is the time frame that you had in mind?
Sir, this is a short-term trade.
Okay.
But what about 3 months back, the market was bullish.
Yes.
This is a logistic company.
Yes.
I think it is in a bullish and the market was uptrending. So I thought it will appreciate. But initially it was appreciating 1 or 2%.
Yes.
And I purchased at the price of 1, 2, 3, 4. Later on, is it slowly coming down? Now it is almost 20-30% down.
Yes.
Now what I should do, whether it is, shall I hold? Or shall I hold for another 6 to 1 year?
Okay.
Or shall I book loss now?
Okay. Nagraju, since this was a trading idea, what is the time frame that you initially had?
About short term, that is only positional trading for a swing trading purpose I did it.
Sure. Okay, understood. Kushal, I'm going to come to you on this one. If you bought at elevated levels, and there are going to be quite a few names in the broader markets that have seen this kind of a move, but here's where the importance of a stop loss comes through. What would you suggest that he do with this right now? If you bought at levels of 1,234, the stock is trading just above 800. What would you do with TCI Express?
Since the stock is a falling knife and it's too risky to catch a falling knife, I would recommend to keep a very tight stop loss near 790. And if the stock is plummeting below 790, it's best to book your losses.
All right, the next query is from Amit Pandey, who's from Bangalore. Now, he's purchased 217 shares of Tips Music at an average price of 709 over the last 8 months, starting from March 2024. And he wants to know if he can add more or sell full or partial of its existing portfolio from a medium-term horizon. Kushal, let's stick with you for this one. Do you think the charts look attractive for this counter, or should he sell?
Well, the charts are very attractive and the primary trend is quite positive. So I would recommend to hold your investments, put a trailing stop loss near 839, 835. And I feel there's a good potential upside for another 12 to 15% on the short term.
Do you have the message in front of you? Is this Tips Industries or?
No, Tips Music.
Tips Music.
Yes.
I hope this, yeah, okay, cool. All right. So we got that right. Tata Technologies is the name of the counter, and Manu is asking this question. He's bought at levels of 1,172. Let's pull up the chart. So he has lost a little bit of ground, but he's got a 2 or 3 year time horizon. And Gaurang, from that perspective, would you accumulate at these levels?
So Alex, the floor was I think 585 to 600 for Tata Tech IPO. We had given a subscribe recommendation on Tata Tech IPO from a long-term point of view. Well, despite the fact that he's gotten at higher levels, he has 2-3 years kind of time horizon. So I'll make that IPO report on the subscribe side as a base and give an advice that hold on to it. And possibly if you have investable amount, that I think current levels somewhere close to about 930, 940 are decent levels to even average a little bit more.
All right, then we have the next caller from Doha, Qatar. Sumit is joining in. Sumit, welcome to NDTV Profit. How can we help you?
Good morning, ma'am. Ma'am, first of all, I just want to thank you that ND Profit by sharing your research and information, and it helps us to create a portfolio. I do not have any pharma stock in my portfolio, and I just want to add one pharma stock of large cap for the next 3 or 4 years. Which one should I add?
All right, so I think your query is pretty clear to us. Gaurang, I'll come to you for this one. What is your topic in the pharma stocks?
Well, I think Sumit has identified a good sector, and within the pharma universe, we are extremely excited about the CDMO segment companies, that is contract manufacturing and the kind of companies, which is a huge market, not only in India but also in the overseas market. So if I have to identify one particular, though there are almost again over here more than half a dozen companies that we cover, but I think Cipla would be a perfect investment idea because it has a combination of both local as well as global markets, and it is also operating in the CDMO space.
Okay. I believe we've got Ramakrishna on the phone line. Ramakrishna, hold on. We're going to take a couple of questions from WhatsApp and then come to you on your question. So do have a little patience with us. RailTel is the name of the counter that we're talking about next. And this is a question from Sri. He's writing in from Toronto. So we've got international on this. We got a caller from Doha and now Toronto question. He's a long-term investor holding at a price of 532. So he's got a 3 to 5 year time frame, but he's looking at the numbers and he's looking at the performance on the charts and he's not too happy with how it's gone. The stock has given up a little bit of ground. He's bought at 532. Stock is just above 400. Kushal, on the charts, what's the strategy that you would employ right now?
For RailTel, right?
Yes.
Well, my view on RailTel is it's turning a bit positive. I feel 415 is an immediate resistance level. Once the resistance level is surpassed on a closing basis, I'm expecting a target of 456.
Okay.
All right. I think we have our next caller. We have Ramakrishna from Bengaluru who is joining in. Ramakrishna, welcome to NDTV Profit and a very good morning. How can we help you?
Hi, thank you. Thank you for allowing me to ask a question. I have 2 lakhs of investment on Tata Consumer, around 155 shares at a price of 957.
Okay.
At a price of 1025. Now it is at 957. My long-term view is 3 years, so I would like to know if I can continue.
All right. I just want to know with what perspective have you bought Tata Consumer? What were the rationale?
The simple reason is I have been using some LIC, and I see that a lot of LIC are having those share in their portfolios. So I thought it is a very good bet.
Okay. Gaurang, I'll come to you for this one. Do you think that Tata Consumer is a stock from the FMCG space that he should keep holding?
I definitely think so. I think Mr. Ramakrishnan has identified a strong company from the Tata Group, Tata Consumers. It has got power brands like Tata Sampann. It has already ventured into organic food products as well and has launched a couple of products over there and many more to get launched. Unfortunately, the second quarter for FMCG pack was a little bit below the weather, and hence we saw the correction. 1225 is the target as of now from a long-term point of view. A disclosure, if the earnings improve, we will scale the target upwards.
We've got a next caller, Vishwanath Reddy, who's calling in from Andhra Pradesh. He's got GAIL at a price of 41. Vishwanath, what was the thinking when you bought? How long do you want to hold it for? Morning. Vishwanath, hi, can you hear me? Okay, I think we've lost him. Do we have another caller? I think we might have another caller. We have Vinay on the phone line. Vinay, I believe you're calling in from Hyderabad. What do you want to know about?
So I have 2 stocks with me. One is Zydus Life with the shares of 435 with a price of 975. And Tata Motors price of 1049 with 415 shares.
Okay.
Can I do the average? I'm just looking for a long-term horizon of 1 to 2 years.
Okay. Let me take your question on Tata Motors, because I know that we've got Gaurang, who's got a very specific view on Tata Motors, and he's been a long-term bull on the counter. Gaurang, it's given up a little bit of ground in the recent past because of the various factors that are playing out globally. Would you say that it's a good level to accumulate?
Well, I think from 1150, 1200 plus levels, correct me if I'm wrong, Alice, this is corrected to sub 800, 750, found a base, and then it's kind of recover its lost ground. We're maintaining a target of 1100 on Tata Motors. I think things are going to change around as we go forward. into the launches and of course the domestication of GLRs in its plant in Gujarat, Sanand, we maintain a positive view with 1100 targets on Tata Motors.
Okay. It is now just about winding up time for this program, and we're going to have to shut the phone lines, but it's time to hit the rapid fire segment, and this is where we throw as many questions, gentlemen, at you over the course of 2 minutes, and do try and answer as many as you possibly can. The first one I'm throwing your way is Ambuja Cements, and this one's for you, Kushal, on the charts. If you've got a time horizon of 6 months, Jaya wants to know whether you should buy at this current juncture.
No, I would definitely recommend to avoid buying the stock until unless the 603 levels are crossed, because that is supposed to act as very heavy resistance. So yeah, I believe once those levels are taken out, I think then it'll be an ideal buy. Till then, you should avoid the stock.
Alright, the next question is from Sonal. She's from UAE and she wants to have a view on Raymond Lifestyle. She's bought it at 2,400 rupees. Gaurang, your view on Raymond Lifestyle?
Well, on Raymond, we have a coverage from a long-term point of view, and my sense is that the opportunity is going to open up positivity in terms of numbers.
Okay. Coming back to you, if you've got a view on PG Invit, Power Grid Invit, if you've got a purchase price of 99, you're planning to hold for the next 10 to 15 years, it's still a good idea. Ajay wants to know, Gaurang.
Well, so we're positive on Power Grid as such, Alex.
Okay.
I don't know how much it will reflect upon the Invits, but the entire transmission and distribution sector looks quite good.
Okay, Bala Murugan from Chennai is asking whether this is the right time to enter Reliance stock or not. Kushal, your view on this?
Well, if it's a risk taker, I would definitely advise to start entering Reliance because it's quite at a crucial demand zone. So I think the risk reward is quite favoring. So probably it's a good buy. Keeping a strict stop loss in mind, which should be around 1200 levels.
Okay. Prashant wants to know about the defense space, and quite a few of these stocks have been buzzing in the recent past. Kushal, on the charts, does anything look attractive from the period of 6 to 12 months?
Well, I'm positive on BEL and Mascot from the space. I feel they're forming a nice basing pattern and they're attempting to bottom out. So yeah, those are my two picks for a potential 12 to 15% on the upside.
Alright, one last quick question to you, Gaurang. Ajit is holding 100 shares of Avalon Tech. Should he keep holding it?
I'll give it a pass. We don't have coverage. I'm sorry.
Alright, then just one last view on BEL since he mentioned, Kaushal, your view on BEL?
He's positive.
Kushal already gave his view. So Gaurang, I'm asking you.
Well, 335 is a target, and I think it's one of the best placed stocks in the defense PSU category.
Okay. Gaurang, Kushal, thanks so much for taking the time. Pleasure speaking with you as always, and happy Friday and happy weekend to you. Viewers, we're completely out of time on this edition of Ask Profit. We've tried to help a lot of you over the course of the last 1 hour. Thank you so much for your patience, and hopefully this helped you. From Mahima and myself and the team that put this show together, thank you so much for watching. Do stay tuned. This is NDTV Profit.
Becoming a member of jury of NDTV was a totally different challenge altogether.
When you recognize contribution to society, these stories are inspiration for everyone who views them.
The NDTV Indian of the Year is an extremely important initiative.
Nominees were just extraordinary.
Each one of them is a rock star.
And the achievers in this field who are inspiration for the Indians in this country have been chosen for this prestigious award.
When the whole day passes like a blur, the news just whizzes past, and you're trying to stay informed. It is our job to bring you news that truly matters. At Profit 360, we cut through the clutter, the long street deals, finance and policy news that could shape your tomorrow. The newsmakers, the trendsetters, and the innovators. In 30 minutes, we've got you covered. So stay ahead, stay informed, and stay profitable with Profit 360.
Headlines you start your day with. What matters worldwide is now in the palm of your hands. Get ready to seize the day and maximize your financial potential. Stay ahead of the curve with all you need to know on NDTV Profit.
When the whole day passes like a blur, the news just whizzes past, and you're trying to stay informed. It is our job to bring you news that truly matters. At Profit 360, we cut through the clutter, the large street deals, finance and policy news that could shape your tomorrow. The newsmakers, the trendsetters, and the innovators. In 30 minutes, we've got you covered. So stay ahead, stay informed, and stay profitable with Profit 360.
Headlines you start your day with. What matters worldwide is now in the palm of your hands. Get ready to seize the day and maximize your financial potential. Stay ahead of the curve with all you need to know on NDTV Profit.
When the whole day passes like a blur, the news just whizzes past, and you're trying to stay informed. It is our job to bring you news that truly matters. At Profit 360, we cut through the clutter, the large street deals, finance and policy news that could shape your tomorrow. The newsmakers, the trendsetters, and the innovators. In 30 minutes, we've got you covered. So stay ahead, stay informed, and stay profitable with Profit 360.
Headlines you start your day with. What matters worldwide is now in the palm of your hands. Get ready to seize the day and maximize your financial potential. Stay ahead of the curve with all you need to know on NDTV Profit.
When the whole day passes like a blur, the news just whizzes past, and you're trying to stay informed. It is our job to bring you news that truly matters. At Profit 360, we cut through the clutter, the large street deals, finance and policy news that could shape your tomorrow. The newsmakers, the trendsetters, and the innovators. In 30 minutes, we've got you covered. So stay ahead, stay informed, and stay profitable with Profit 360.
Headlines you start your day with. What matters worldwide is now in the palm of your hands. Get ready to seize the day and maximize your financial potential. Stay ahead of the curve with all you need to know on NDTV Profit.
When the whole day passes like a blur, the news just whizzes past, and you're trying to stay informed. It is our job to bring you news that truly matters. At Profit 360, we cut through the clutter, the large street deals, finance and policy news that could shape your tomorrow. The newsmakers, the trendsetters, and the innovators. In 30 minutes, we've got you covered. So stay ahead, stay informed, and stay profitable with Profit 360.
Headlines you start your day with. What matters worldwide is now in the palm of your hands. Get ready to seize the day and maximize your financial potential. Stay ahead of the curve with all you need to know on NDTV Profit.
When the whole day passes like a blur, the news just whizzes past, and you're trying to stay informed. It is our job to bring you news that truly matters. At Profit 360, we cut through the clutter, the long street deals, finance and policy news that could shape your tomorrow. The newsmakers, the trendsetters, and the innovators. In 30 minutes, we've got you covered. So stay ahead, stay informed, and stay profitable.
Hello and welcome. You're watching the Small and Mid Cap Show. I am Agam Akil, and in this show we take you through, conversations with managements on their outlook going forward. But before we bring in our first conversation around Gulf oil, I'm going to take a very quick look at the markets and how they're faring. So a trend of sorts. Today as well, we have substantial gains in the Adani Group companies, with the Nifty 50 itself advanced by around 1%. So we do have a little bit of recovery playing out after yesterday's day of trade. But we all know that to a certain extent, a lot of the weakness yesterday was attributed to expiration and the volatility induced by that. Today we have Reliance Industries, Bharti Airtel and L&T along with ICICI Bank providing the bulk of gains as far as the up move is concerned on the Nifty 50. And of course, even in terms of the broader markets, it is going to be another day of trade where we have seen advances. The mid cap and the small cap indices